Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQ&AW, and as always, NoDQ.com. Thanks as always for watching. Let's get right down to your questions about the world of wrestling. Hey Aaron, after Big Show's title win and with people saying he'll never lose it, could you see Ryback winning the Royal Rumble and challenging him at WrestleMania 29? I know Ryback is technically a Raw superstar, but WWE always seems to find ways around things like that from Ace. I wasn't aware that Ryback was a Raw superstar. I could have sworn he started on SmackDown, but the brand extension is all but dead at this point, so who cares? Regarding Ryback winning the Rumble, I think that that's a long shot when you consider John Cena will probably be in it, and I think the winner of the Rumble will go on to the biggest match at WrestleMania, and I don't think that Ryback versus Big Show would be the headlining match at WrestleMania. But that is a good possibility. I mean, it could be that WWE wants to put a title on Ryback and continue pushing him to the top, and at the same time making Big Show the ultimate heel. So when you finally get to WrestleMania, you could have Ryback slaying the big giant at WrestleMania. So I mean that is a good idea, and that might be a direction WWE is planning to go in. Who knows? Maybe that's why Sheamus lost the title, because they wanted to start pushing Big Show for WrestleMania. Not really sure what WWE's planning at this point, but there were the rumors going around a few weeks ago that Ryback would be feuding with Big Show, so that could very well be the direction WWE's going in, and I don't see that as a bad thing. I think that that would be a good match for Ryback to be in there with the giant. Will he be able to? I don't think he should attempt to do the shell shocked, but maybe he'll pick him up and slam him or do something cool. Who knows? Hey Aaron, please answer in video. Do you think that when Randy turns heel, Randy Orton, that he will go back to Burn in My Light gimmick? Personally, I think it would be good for WWE. Well, let's make this perfectly clear. Randy Orton, when he turns heel, which I'm sure is inevitable, he's not going to go back to the Burn in My Light theme song or that personality. I mean, a few weeks ago, he was growing out his hair because he was filming a movie, and he hated it. Like, people were asking him on Twitter, "Are you going to keep the longer hair?" And he's like, "Hell no." And you know, as soon as the movie wrapped up, he shaved his head again. And Randy Orton is not going to go back to that old gimmick, and he's certainly not going to go back to the old music. He hated that theme song, and he wanted to have it changed for years. He never liked it. So yeah, it's just. He's not going to go back in that direction. I'm sure he'll just go back to being the, the heel Viper character that he was before he turned. Something more like that. This is from ADYman182. Hey Aaron, love the show. Congrats for 200 episodes. From Bosnia. Who, in your opinion, is the best ECW wrestler of all time? Could you name the top three? In my opinion, Shane Douglas, Taz, and Sabu. I'm doing a poll, so I would like to hear your opinion. Well, I think the number one guy, when you think of ECW and when people look back at ECW, I think RVD comes to people's minds. He was like the one guy that never left ECW. I mean, he did make an appearance on Raw every now and then, but he was a guy that stayed loyal to ECW through thick and thin. He never jumped ship, to WWE until after ECW folded. So RVD would be at the top. Shane Douglas, of course, was the guy that started the whole revolution, throwing down the belt. So Shane Douglas would be at the top of the list, and Sabu as well. Sabu, one of those guys that you associate with ECW, doing all the crazy moves, diving off into the tables and the ladders, and Sandman as well. Those four guys would probably be, and Tommy Dreamer, Raven, those would be the top guys, and Taz as well. Just throw all them in. Those would be your ECW, your top five or whatever. With WrestleMania 28 doing so well, do you think that WWE can and will duplicate the results from last year? I have my doubts about that. I think that WWE had lightning in a bottle with The Rock versus John Cena. That was the absolute biggest match that they could do, and they did a huge pay-per-view number, but I just don't think that they can reach that peak again. I'm not sure what match could possibly draw more interest from the general public, people that aren't big-time WWE fans that don't watch it all the time. I'm not sure if there's a match that they could do. I suppose John Cena versus The Undertaker could be one of those matches, but I don't think a John Cena versus Rock rematch would have the impact that the first one had. There's just no way that they can recreate that success, and I think it's a mistake to do that match again. They did once in a lifetime. Let it be over. And if you do another match, everyone's going to think Cena's going to get his win back, and just too predictable and just won't mean as much. And same thing with doing Brock Lesnar versus Triple H. It's not going to have the impact of the first match. And, it would be just too predictable. I think the WWE needs to change it up for WrestleMania. I think that maybe doing The Rock versus Undertaker. I mean, hopefully Undertaker's at WrestleMania, because I think that if he's in there with John Cena or Brock Lesnar or The Rock, that match right there could potentially help WrestleMania 29 at least come close to WrestleMania 28's levels. Instead of having Goldberg end the streak at Starrcade 98, why not keep him unbeaten? Go versus Sting, face versus face at Starrcade 99 for title. Sting turned heel to end the streak instead of turning on Hogan, who nobody cared about at the time. Your thoughts? Well, certainly it would have been a good idea to keep Goldberg's streak lasting for a longer period than it did. And in a perfect world, Starrcade 98 would have been Goldberg challenging Hulk Hogan for the title, the match that happened at Georgia Dome. That's the match that should have happened at Starrcade 98. And then, keep Goldberg unbeaten at least for another year. Why kill something when it still has momentum? And, they could have done something with Sting and Goldberg. Although turning Sting heel, as we saw in the later part of '99 when he turned on Hogan, I mean that heel turn just didn't work. Sting as a heel in general never worked. So I wouldn't have done that necessarily, where you have Sting turning heel. But there's other things they could have done. They still could have done a face versus face match and had Sting in it. I mean, I think once again in a perfect situation, you would have at the same time Goldberg was the champion, you would have been building up another superstar, a new superstar, and then had that person face Goldberg and beat Goldberg. So that way you've created a new star because he beat the monster Goldberg, the guy who was on this undefeated streak, and you just created a new superstar. So, I mean, that would have been, I think, the perfect match to do, but, it's not a perfect world. This is from Juan Jose 76. Hey, Aaron, do you see John Cena wrestling full-time through his 40s, or do you see him in a part-time schedule like Triple H was when he would wrestle only on pay-per-views? I think that John Cena will continue to wrestle as long as his body holds up. John Cena is one of those guys who has wrestling in his blood, and it's the thing that he does with his life. It's the one thing that he loves to do, and I think he will continue to do it as long as he physically can. I don't know if he'll be into his 50s or not. I don't know if that's something he wants to do personally, but I do think that we'll continue to see John Cena as long as he can do it. I just don't see him walking away randomly, just saying, you know what, I'm done, I'm going to leave. I think he'll keep on going on for as long as he can. This is from JJSIXX66. Hey Aaron, love the show. Do you see Sabu being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? Well, this plays into the earlier question. Sabu's certainly one of the ECW originals and one of the guys associated with ECW. So if WWE decides to do an ECW wing of the Hall of Fame or have a ECW-themed Hall of Fame, I could very well see Sabu going in. He would be at the top of the list of guys that go into the Hall of Fame based on their ECW runs. But I just don't know if WWE's ready to do an ECW wing just yet. Maybe they'll do it this year since WrestleMania is in New York. But I just think that there are other guys that WWE wants to induct into the Hall of Fame. And I think eventually Sabu will probably get in. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen this year or not. But I do think it's a good possibility. This is from BHinder1. Hey Aaron, if The Rock beats CM Punk for the title, does that mean we'll see The Rock on Raw weekly until the Royal Rumble? I don't think so. I think that if and when The Rock wins the WWE title, if he wins it at Royal Rumble, which I'm predicting, I don't think we're going to see him all that much. He has got a very busy schedule between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, so he's going to make his commitments. He will be at the Royal Rumble. He'll be at WrestleMania, but besides those two events, I don't expect to see him on Raw Weekly like we saw him on Raw Weekly last year. He's got a very busy schedule, and I think he'll make an occasional live appearance, maybe 1 or 2 Raw appearances, and then maybe a couple of taped appearances, but I just don't think it'll be like last year where we'll be seeing him every week, doing the Raw concert and all that stuff. Just don't see that happening. Hey Aaron, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. CM Punk as a face will fight anybody, example Kane with no problem, but turn him heel and suddenly he's a coward. Normal heel stuff, but I think it's a very poor writing and a waste of Punk's potential. Thanks. Well, that's just typical pro wrestling. When the guy's a baby face, he's brave, he doesn't back down from a fight, but when he turns heel, he's a coward. He runs away from his opponents, and yeah, it does hurt the character when you make a drastic change like that. I mean, it really hurt Steve Austin when he turned heel in 2001, and all of a sudden he's a coward. He's John Wayne running away from a fight. Just didn't fit the Stone Cold Steve Austin character. And WWE had to drastically change Austin's character to get people to boo him, and it just didn't work. The thing about CM Punk is that he's just so good playing a heel role, and I think he can make it work. But yeah, I mean, it is quite a drastic change from how CM Punk was just 6 months ago, and they did have to change his character a lot to get people to boo him. I mean, when they first turned him, they didn't have him rip into the fans, and people were still cheering him. So he had to make these changes to get the boos, and that's just the direction WWE decided to go in. They needed a top heel, and CM Punk can play either role. He's one of those guys that can be an effective babyface or be an effective heel regardless of the situation. He can play the role. All right, that'll wrap it up for No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching once again. Make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQ&AV. Keep spreading the word, Facebook and Twitter. Just let people know about No DQ&A video. I appreciate all the support from you guys, and I'll see you next time for more No DQ&A video.